Let's talk to the Labour MP, Stephen Kinnock, who is at Westminster. Hello, Mr Kinnock.
Hello.
How big is it for MPs like yourself today?
I think it's a truly historic moment. We are overturning the Constitution here. The standard rules of the game here are that the government brings forward legislation and we vote on it. Now, of course, Theresa May has actually rewritten those rules because she's the one that has refused our rejection. So she keeps coming back with the same proposal, and that breaks all the traditional rules and protocols of the way we do things in Parliament. So we are now having to take control of the process, and I think it's a great opportunity for our democracy, actually.
Is what you're doing today legitimate?
Yes, absolutely. We have voted to suspend Standing Order 14 of Parliament. The Standing Order 14 says the default position is the government controls the order paper, but if we voted to suspend it, then it's perfectly within the rules of Parliament to do so. And of course, we regularly have private members' bills that do that on a Friday. What's highly unusual is for this to happen on what is the most important policy issue of the day. So that is unprecedented. But, you know, you've got to sometimes rewire the Constitution when you have a completely incompetent and inept government that has botched these negotiations. We have to step up and act in the national interest.
First thing this morning, there were about 16 options that could go forward tonight for you all to vote on, option A to option P. You may not have that many by the time we get to this evening, depending on what the Speaker chooses. But do you want to vote any way you want to vote, or are you expecting instructions from your leader, Jeremy Corbyn, on how to vote on certain ideas?
Well, I've been completely consistent for the last 2.5 years. I've been campaigning for what we now call Common Market 2.0. Some people call it the Norway option. It's respecting the referendum without wrecking the British economy. We leave the political institutions, we leave the political project of the EU, but we keep a frictionless, very close trading relationship through the single market and a form of customs union. So I will definitely be voting for that option. I think there are also some very other interesting and coherent proposals on the order paper today.
Yeah, but the question was, do you want your leader, the whips in your party to be telling you and your colleagues which way to vote on certain ideas, or do you think it should be free, you can vote however you want?
I think it's right that the Labour whip is applied where it's Labour Party policy.
Right.
So our front bench amendment, Common Market 2.0, puts flesh on the bones of that. I think we probably will be whipped as well for the second referendum because that was agreed at Labour Party conference as party policy.
And that Norway option that you just mentioned, I mean, the Leader of the House of Commons said on the radio this morning, that kind of option is actually about the future relationship with between the UK and the EU. And you need the withdrawal agreement first before you get on to talking about whether it's Norway or Canada or whatever.
Yeah, the fundamental problem with Theresa May's deal is not the withdrawal agreement, in my opinion. It's the political declaration on the future relationship.
Right.
Because it's just a load of meaningless platitudes. Our proposal says withdrawal agreement, fine. Rewrite the political declaration to give it real meaning and real teeth so we know what we're actually buying with that £39 billion of taxpayers' money.
OK, so if, say, by Monday there is a clear outcome, let's just say for the purposes of this conversation, it's Norway, you would want that attached to the withdrawal agreement and you would expect the government to go back to Brussels and say, this is what we're doing now?
Absolutely. We have to have the government now agreeing to the plan B that Parliament gives it. Theresa May, her plan A has failed. In life, when your plan A fails, you have to come up with a plan B. She seems to be incapable of doing that. We, I hope, will give her that plan B. She has to, in good faith, implement it. If she's not prepared to do that, she has to stand aside and make way for somebody that will.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stephen Kinnock, Labour.